My God, this episode was crazy. And to be honest, too, I literally thought this episode was starting off very slow. And with so much build from last week and so much anticipation of what they could have did this week, the beginning of how this episode started, I was a little bit worried, but god damn, did the joint end crazy. This is a crazy episode. Folks, we're back talking about Snowfall, episode 7, Through a Glass Darkly. The statement that Alton made to Franklin before they threw them hands. It was a one-hitter quitter, and there was a casualty at hand. This is a crazy episode. Nigel and Lucas here. Lucas, how you doing, brother?
I swear it's great to be right about things. I swear it is. I swear it is.
Hey,
I said a couple of things last episode. I said one, Alton would be who Alton ultimately becomes in this episode.
Yep.
I said that Sissy would side with Franklin.
Yeah.
And I said Franklin would have a response to Alton being Alton.
Yeah.
Boy. Listen. Yep. This is why you tune in to Snowfall, because Franklin finally makes a smart decision.
Yeah.
Oh, he finally makes a smart decision. He didn't go as far as I thought he would want to go, but very smart decision.
Yeah.
When he said, get out, all that pops went out the window.
Yeah.
Alton, get out. Like, it's like, oh man.
Yep. Again, folks, thank you so much for checking out our review last week. Keep throwing in the comments your thoughts about each episode, as we definitely like hearing your thoughts, analysis, theories, all that other good stuff. I got to go off the limb and say that episode 7, this might be my favorite episode. And I think it was it was no choice but to be this good, because there was just so much build last week that things had to take off. And that's why I was a little bit like, I'm patient with this show, but like the beginning part, say like the first 20-ish minutes, I was like, oh, this is dragging. There's a lot of things that they need to touch up on.
I love the first 20 minutes of this episode.
I did too. It told a bunch of good things, but like,
yeah.
I mean, the Alton, first of all, we got to talk about the two characters that we've been putting off this entire season. That's Alton and Irene. And now we're literally solidifying the interactions the two of them were going to have. And now we're seeing essentially the trajectory of where these two characters are going to go. I'm going to start with Irene really quick. She's a shitty person. And the reason why she's shitty is because, look, I'm being 100% honest here. Every single time they built the character who is, and it's traditionally a man who is so passionate about their job that they sacrifice everything, their family, their kids, just for the sake of getting their big payoff. That's what she did.
She's great. That was his name?
Greg Knox.
Great. Yep. She's great.
Yep.
She's great.
Exactly. Yep. So it's exactly that. And not just Greg, but like so many other stories I've seen.
She's like Greg combined with Paz combined. Like she is a horrible person.
But and again, they told it out. Like she ruined everything just for this. Just for this.
To come in and say, you are putting us all in danger by doing this. Because again, I love that you needed someone as a voice of reason.
Exactly.
Like you don't just go after the CIA and think everything's going to be fine.
Also, can I add something really quick? It's also with the voice of reason. It's also the complete parallel to what Alton said. You're just hearing it in two different perspectives. They're both saying that you're going against the government. This is not a good thing. And you heard it in a more of a
with a pseudonym
innocent way. Yeah.
With a pseudonym. Like this is you literally typed Franklin is getting his supply from Reed Thompson. There is no Reed Thompson. Like, well, what at this point, all you did was take, and I think, again, I hate to project, but I'm assuming it's going to be played out. You took a story from a junkie.
As we've seen by the closing shot, she has the report done. She's turning it in, and there isn't a celebration exactly going. Looks like to be reserve in the room. So we're going to obviously pick up on episode 8.
Because if you don't remember, she part of the deal was you can't say anything about Franklin.
Yeah. And
if you can't say anything about Franklin, you have nothing.
Yeah. You know what else I noticed as a parallel to another reason why she's a shitty person, because she acknowledged that she drove her family apart because of what she did.
Hey.
By the way, you just made Alton do the exact same thing. You drove his family apart because you wanted to chase this story so bad.
So much that you destroyed his family along with destroying and putting at risk your family.
Yeah, again.
Like, it makes no sense.
Apart. Your daughter could be across the country. That ain't gonna mean anything once they realize.
It's the CIA. Where's your... As Franklin told Alton, nigga, we're going to go to Cuba and hide?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't want to look over my shoulder for the rest of my life. He understands the risk that's involved here.
Yeah, I want to come back to that really quick. One other thing I want to say about Irene, too. She did a really dirty tactic, too, to Alton. And I don't know if everybody... I mean, I feel like everybody should have picked on to this, but, like, it's plain and simple. She put him... who he was already stressing out. He went to the bar and he had a tough decision. Like everybody was pretty much worried, like, oh, come on, bro, don't go back that way. But look, why is he even at the bar? Because you thought he was at the bar because of the result, what happened with Sissy, which could be true, but no. She knew his vulnerability. So she put him in a hostel room for him to make the hard decision around the circumstances that he's been battling in alcoholism all this time. Essentially, what she did was first 48 him. She put him in the interrogation room and gave him the cigarette. And my man got the snitching. Like that is a dirty government tactic that she pulled there.
Not only that, why would a reporter be able to pull this tactic? And why would a former Black Panther
fall for this bullshit?
Dude, like the whole setup was that he was so guilt-ridden. You didn't know your son was selling rock? Like, did it just surprise you? The impact of him doing this? How did it surprise you? Come on, man. I said he would be the weak link, and this is part of the reason why I said he would be the weak link. Because he's a recovering addict. It is, I think it was a hell of a parallel that you see somebody overdose, and on the same day you throw him a party for him being off drugs.
Bro.
No.
Yep. 100%. I thought, first of all, with that being said, I thought this episode was beautifully constructed with so many parallels to things. I feel like, and to be clear, I feel like on one side of the fence, you were seeing something one way, and then the other side, you were seeing it from another way, but they were actually telling the same story. Yeah. They did that a lot this episode, and as you just pointed out, and I thought this was really, really constructed very well. I'm very impressed with this episode. Matter of fact, I will almost go as far as saying episode 8 has got to bring it, because this is going to be a hard one to beat. Hold up.
Oh, quick correction. So last week we assumed this show had 8 episodes, and I think the press release came out today.
No. Yeah. I forgot the announcement.
Yeah, the press release came out today that not only is it 10 episodes, but it got picked up for season 5.
Okay.
So at least we know this is going to continue.
Okay.
But it also got released today that, well, not today. I'm tripping. Last week that it's going to be 10 episodes instead of 8 episodes. I always assume, because most, especially with Pose coming back, most FX shows have 8 episodes. Or am I bugging?
No, you're not.
Yeah. So I assume it only had 8 episodes. And then all of a sudden we get, nope, it's 10 episodes.
Yep. Like, and I just want to, I just want to kind of read that verbatim really quick, just in case you all didn't see it last week. Snowfall officially renewed for its 5th season on FX. Still continuing the same partnership with The Next Day on FX on Hulu. Keyword is 5th season on FX. That's the thing I've been tampering with.
Yep.
What were they going to do with that? So it broke monumental numbers in regards to the first 3 episodes this season.
He is out here, ladies and gentlemen. He's out here reading the whole press release.
No.
I'm just saying. I'm just letting you know, because I found out it was renewed because of the late night. I went on the Shade Room and they were talking about it. so we got our news completely different.
Regardless, either way, yes, you're right. Renewed. Season 4 does have 10 episodes, and you're right about our speculation about it being 8, but it is going to be 10, so we got a lot more to go, which still doesn't take away that if 8 was the finale. 7 was constructed the way it should have been if 8 was going to be the finale. And who knows how they did this? I mean, they could have had these 2 episodes, 9 and 10, canned because of pandemic thing and shifted to next season because we've seen that with a bunch of things.
And because of most of these FX shows are going to 8 episode seasons because of the pandemic. Again, I bring up Pose, which clearly announced they shortened their season from their normal run to 8 episodes because of the pandemic. So I assumed, or we assumed, Snowfall would do the same. But clearly, they like, nope, we don't get these episodes in.
And season 4 will conclude April 21st. So that's all the notes y'all need to know. That we won't got to keep speculating about where FX is going with Snowfall. More Snowfall is coming, folks. So, and we'll be here obviously covering it. But yeah, I mean, look, this episode again, just with a lot of the parallels, going back to Alton a little bit. I think that, you know, because he's kind of been the slow burn this season, the idea of him, you know, coming to terms with the idea of what Franklin is doing in the city. We all know, everybody knows, and now he sort of looks it in the mirror and just like, okay. And obviously the overdose affected him, but at the same time too, you know, I don't know, like the whole conversation with Sissy should have also been enough to make him kind of wise up about things. But the conversation went that we'll get out in 2 years if Franklin agrees. And
her saying, I am not abandoning my son.
Yeah.
Like she literally told you, guess who I'm picking if this goes another way. It ain't you.
Yep. So
I don't care how many times I sit between your legs while we reminisce about the past. It's just not gonna be the case.
Yeah, I mean, his birthday party was kind of short-lived. I was kind of feeling those vibes, you know, those small but big celebrations, and they got the eating. Everybody got the kicking back. We'll talk about Jerome in a second, but nostalgia started coming.
My man there. Yeah, we definitely gonna talk about Jerome.
Hell of an episode for Jerome, who is the worst actor, as y'all like to say.
I don't know what y'all saying. He is quintessential 80s. And if you had questions about him being like the quintessential 80s character, when you saw the big new Debo nigga, you should have really understood then how much he is quintessential 80s.
Yeah. But I thought another couple of things talking about the Saints here is that the good performances by all of them. I mean, Sissy with the emotion of saying that we need to talk, and just that dead stare she had, I felt that. The intense scene with Alton and Franklin was, I know, like, yeah, for what it's worth, for what happened in it, it was hot, but like the acting was still really, really good. I fell into the drama without a doubt. But like, yeah, like you said, Franklin took the blow. He gave a blow, and then he said, "Don't call me son." Like, these are really critical things within their infrastructure. Obviously, now that he's out here snitching or whatever it may be, and Sissy making it very clear she's standing by Franklin. And then we obviously seen the closing shot too, which we'll come back to that.
Which is a dope shot and shows just how much it affected Franklin to have to cut that tie. Because he's wanted that tie forever. We saw earlier in the series where Franklin wanted nothing to do with him. And then as he progressed and got clean, how much Franklin still kept him at a distance. It goes back to the story of a man wanting his father.
Yeah.
And thinking, I finally got you back. And just as I get you back, you do something where I can't forgive you for. That is craziness.
Yeah. So where do we go next? Do we go to Jerome? Do we go to the project? I mean,
let's go Wanda. Because Wanda looks clean.
Wanda. Hey, look, Wanda out here not looking bad.
Hey, look, I wanted her to open her mouth up because I'm like, if you got new teeth, nigga, like, hey, I don't know if Wanda got the love and hip hop teeth going on. But she look, you know, I like the point that they're playing her this way about her getting clean, but still wanting to get in the drug game. That's amazing. That happened that way.
She's just trying to make $1, and the idea that she was going to make $1 by any means necessary. I mean, here's the other thing that kind of happened. We saw her run away from the druggie ran the opposite way of her, which I thought was really symbolic to the idea. Is she legitimately trying to go clean?
Yeah.
She went the opposite way of him. She saw him, didn't even react. The first time she saw him, it was a whole different react. So little things that some people could easily overlook. But again, she wants to stay clean, but ultimately she wants money. But what I called was about her running intel back to Leon about what's happening. Now, although it doesn't seem that it's going to amount to anything right now, because everyone already knows now, and the story's already been submitted. So it's not like nothing that she can tell Leon that and Leon tell Franklin that we don't already know, unless there seems to be, which I think happens, considering now we have 3 extra episodes, is that the story gets submitted, it gets rejected, they come back, she goes and try to renegotiate what's happening with that. Wanda picks up saying like, hey, they're getting ready to turn the story in and they're naming Franklin. We need to do something. Franklin doesn't know who it is yet.
Because he clearly asks multiple times.
Yep.
Well, then who's the reporter?
Wanda does.
And that's the key part, is Wanda knows exactly who it is, who's the reporter. So Wanda now has a very valuable piece of information.
Finally, she got some importance now.
Hey, she got her hand on the, no pun intended, she got her hand on a rock right now. Like she has that important information. She can carry this joke all the way home.
Yep. So,
but again, it's good to see that character evolve. As just being a drug addict, but it's also awesome that we got to see her go through this progression.
Yeah,
from Leon's girlfriend to getting hooked on the rock and getting hooked hard to her crack school days jump with what's my girl name? Franklin's ex. Who got hooked on the rock too. I was about to call her Melody, but it's not Melody. I don't think it is. I know that's an 80s name for black women. I know.
I can't think of her name.
I can't remember her name. But for Wanda to go through all that progression to now saving Lee's life, getting clean because of that reason, and now her here with an opportunity to save the organization.
Man.
She's the real MVP. You got to give it to her.
Could be. She got to play it out, man. She got to play 4 quarters now. She got to start. She got to play 4 quarters, man. She got to do something. But you're right. You're absolutely right. And again, just for the sake of us knowing how much show we got left, every character technically needs something to do. What do we do with Wanda for 3 episodes? It's clear that she's a staple here, but what? And I think she will be the one that will be able to be the saving grace for the organization.
You think it's going to play out where Lee in some way confides into Wanda something he hears from Franklin, and Wanda coming back and saying, oh, well, I know this person who brought this up to Franklin's dad.
Because
he gets back to Franklin and he to tell Wanda, you can have whatever you want. Or he tries to offer Wanda drugs or something, and Wanda's like, no.
Ooh,
I want an opportunity.
Ooh, yeah. That could be something. And look, think about this too. We all know that Leon isn't fond of her being on drugs. So if there's a little bit of extra motivation, like, hey, Leon, look, I got a position in the business now.
They can't get back together though, because her teeth is still the same way. Like
at this point, he's not caring. He checked her out. You know it. He looked at her like, oh, you're not looking bad.
Man, you can't be walking around with old dirty.
Episode 10, we see them kiss.
Ew. That would crack. She still has crack teeth. Like,
don't matter.
We're not gonna act like them jumps just magically go away.
Don't matter. Don't matter.
But again, I like the progression of where Wanda's character is going, and in relation to where Alton's character is going. Like, maybe we see a complete reversal of the two. Wanda get clean, while this could push Alton back into drugs, which would ruin anything for Irene if Alton gets pushed back to drugs.
We'll see. All right, let's go a little bit to the top of the episode now. So we know that Tiana's murder is pretty much off the board now because of the Fat Bat situation. So their biggest issue with the LAPD doesn't seem to be an issue anymore, as we suspected. It just didn't actually go exactly the way they wanted it to go, but here we are. So on that note, Franklin, things are all good, as he said. However, they got to go back to the projects and do what they got to do. But before we go to the projects, there's a real small tidbit that happened that we picked up on. We haven't even discussed this yet, but I know you picked up on this. And that was Franklin asking Jerome, "Hey, you good?" And said, "Nada, not a damn thing." That is a cold shoulder, my friend.
Yes, it is. That is angry.
That is matter of fact. And here's the thing. Let's talk about Jerome's part today. Jerome was hot this episode.
Yes,
he was. I mean, he gave Franklin the cold shoulder. He snapped at Louis
of the year. And Louis, when she said, "I wonder what your mom would think about me," she would. Oh, she said some of the content. She wouldn't think nothing about me. He said, "Sure wouldn't."
Yeah.
Said, damn. Like, that is disrespectful, Joe.
So while that seemed to be the theme in the beginning part of the episode, it all changed when my man had to align himself next to Leon and essentially go back to his roots. And he went back and he got the soldiers in line, and he bossed up.
Hey, it's about going back to the OG. If you ain't never seen in your life, now I remember this as a kid. If you've never seen in your life a nigga outside lifting weights and he crossed his legs as he is pumping weights, that is a nigga that's been to jail because he has no leg muscles. All he has is upper body strength. And I like the way they played it because that's in Cali, or not just Cali, anybody. That's an OG type of move. Mm-hmm. And I love the way they say it ain't too many of them left. And like that is a dying breed, and you needed someone who could relate. Yep. And Jerome has always looked like one of them.
Yeah.
So I love the way that card was played, and I love that conversation that was had.
But ultimately, I just think that we saw him feeling inferior to feeling superior, and that brought him excitement. That brought him back to being level-headed. I mean, my man was grilling, having a good time, and I think what's important here is that we starting to understand potentially the internal conflict that he's having. Where like, I could be a soldier, or I could try my hand into establishing my own thing. I mean,
he started as the guy.
Yeah.
And Franklin got the rock, and that's what changed everything.
But now that you got the info and you kind of know how that whole thing worked,
it's a very interesting dynamic that's going on, down to the little girl who I assume was somebody on rock. And they say, no, she's not on rock. She's just someone who has no money. Like, she needs everything.
Yeah.
You see Leon feel sorry for her because Leon is soft. And he just puts money in her pocket without asking questions.
How was it a no-brainer that you flip her? When I saw him do that, I thought he was gonna put the money in her pocket and say, "Now you work for me." But he gave a charity, and Joe was like, "Oh, hell no!" Which I was like,
right, and snatched that money right out her pocket and said, "We need to know everything else you know."
Exactly.
Because if Leslie Jones and that other chick try to kill Leon again, we gonna have a problem.
Hey, bro, it is rough out here for people with bushes. People are getting clapped for 4 G's just for having a bush, bro.
He looked nothing like Leon besides that, and he had a bigger bush than Leon. Like, damn.
I was like, come on, bro. Like that was I love that scene. That was so funny to me. But I was like, damn, man, for 4 G's, man, you got a bush.
No, remember it was 5 G's.
Yeah, but she said she'll set 4.
She said, man, we'll take 4. Man, then how about 500? Like, nigga, you killed the wrong person. Why would I give you anything? I don't know who this nigga is. You ain't helped me out in any way. That was a really funny scene to play. But again, back to Jerome, this episode really showed his importance.
Yeah.
Because I think that's what was fading in this show. I know I questioned after last episode, like, man, what's the point of Jerome?
Yeah.
And now you see it. It's because he has connections the others don't. And he has valuable connections. And with Fatback gone, he's become the most valuable person for them to attempt to take over the projects again.
Yeah. Also, I mean, with Fatback now being, killed and off the show, like that's the other thing too, is it's like to be able to bring to the forefront his importance here, because I feel like that also was really overlooked as well too. So they made it really clear that, they make this really clear that Leon is in need of someone all the time.
hey, Leon, let's just say Leon ain't the hood brother we thought he was at all. Yeah, not at all. Because that dude, he got punked the moment he got into the project. When a nigga takes off his shirt to fight you and gives his gun to someone else, he has no fear of anything you can do to him.
Yeah, he could have stretched and everything at this rate. He just he
took him for bad, man. Said, nigga, if you got that big of a problem, Leon didn't open his mouth up, and this dude went straight into intimidation mode.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, wow, well, it makes sense now. Like, and I think the conversation between Jerome and Leon was highly important because it showed the importance of Fatback when he was like, hey, he did more than it let us know that character was actually way more important to the operation than we thought he was.
Exactly.
And he's letting them know, like, everything that he did, you now have to do.
Yeah.
Like, you have to show them that you care. And it's also saying, back in the day, if you was a G, a dealer, or anything of that nature, you took care of the neighborhood too. It wasn't this no situation where you drop your product and move. That's not how this works.
Yep.
So like and I think it was also a play on why when it was so important when the guy told him as Leon's coming in, like, man, that washing machine been broke for weeks.
Yeah.
Just letting you know, like, the community understands, like, hey, you gonna sell your shit here, that's cool, but you take care of us, which is something for people that don't know. Back in the day, that's something most drug dealers did. I don't care how much shit they sold, they took care of the neighborhood. While destroying the neighborhood with their drugs, but they still took care of the neighborhood, and that was important.
And man, so now they got new soldiers. They got my man Geek Squad in the rear calculating the numbers.
When he did that, I was like, why is it, nigga? Really?
Hey man,
all I thought of when I saw that and when he gave the numbers, I immediately thought of New Jack City. And I know y'all thinking, why would you think of New Jack City? It's because when Nino Brown was on the stand, he said, well, who is it? He says, not me. It's the educated nigga in the back. That's what I immediately thought when he running off those numbers. Like, okay, as Leon said it best, I don't need a human calculator. Like, nigga, I need a soldier. And then OG step up, nigga, you gonna need more than that. Like, oh shit.
It proved to potentially be both, so we'll see. Question is, I don't think we're going to see any of them again, like in rows. That's going to mean anything.
No, they're just muscle at this point.
Yeah,
I think the OG may be seen a little more.
Yeah,
because
he has to have a big shootout,
a bit role at least.
Yeah, a little bit more being vocal or something.
Yeah.
So the other question is, and this is just a straight question there, and obviously, folks, let us know in the comments what you think is. What is Manboy's plan? He said he keeps saying he got something in the works. What could it be?
It was following Franklin to try to find the connect. Because that was Manboy's people. But I don't think, it's no end game to his plan because we understand who Franklin's connect is.
Yeah.
Nigga, this ain't no other dude. And Reed ain't just coming to another drug dealer to sell his product. That's not gonna happen. So it's like he doesn't understand the weight of Franklin's connect, but he clearly tried to find out who. As Peach said, like, they've been following us for miles here, and Franklin said it best. Like, if it was the Jackers, they could have did it. They're trying to find out who the connect is.
All right, well, if that's his plan, then okay.
Exactly.
Okay, underwhelming.
Yeah. Not only is his plan underwhelming, his sister is ruining his plan by putting the hit out and then telling everybody, Manboy gonna pay for it. She basically said, I'm gonna put a hit out and tell everybody, come to you to collect the money.
Oh boy. All right, let's talk about Reed now. We haven't talked too much about him, but there's a lot of different things happening. I mean, he's in Panama. He's trying to figure out what in the world happened to the stolen cash. And my man pulled a John Kramer from Saw. Y'all know who that is. We'll just say Jigsaw, hiding by my man bed and just completely drugging him.
That was a hell of a move. This was the episode where you really see just how sick and sadistic Reed can be. This is the 80s. He's waterboarding people. Like, I did not understand that. I know most of you all did not understand what waterboarding was until like 2005, 6 or something of that nature. People have been waterboarding people for years. It is one of the worst forms of torture. Please do not ask me how I know that personally, but let's just say it is something you never want to experience, and hopefully you never have to do that to somebody. But like, to see him do it to get the information he needed to get, it really showed that he didn't care at this point. Like, he was like, no, you're not going to keep on lying to me and telling me you don't know or that you didn't steal my money. Like, this was the scene needed, because for Reed, we normally see him be a little soft about things and about things going missing. And this was a time where he was like, I'm done. And I think it has to do with his brother's death. He's like, I'm done with the bullshit. I'm done with messing around. From the moment he got on the plane with Avi, you understood he was strictly business.
And like, you know, he has the paranoia of the KGB being behind him. He also, you know, might have had paranoia from the use of coke. So
yeah, clearly, because
but either way, it all boiled to his advantage. He needed to get what he needed to get done, and he did. Now the question is, you know, beyond that is when he left the scene, the Panamanian banker or whatever she is, and Avi comes in, huh?
So I think we kind of know why Avi came in there,
because he playing both sides here, or is he, or essentially for me, I'm thinking he's finding his way out.
Yeah. Oh, he's gonna get his way out. I think if it's only a matter of time before Reed gets him killed. I think because if I'm not mistaken, the guy they didn't show the information, or we didn't hear full information of what the guy gave up, but we know he gave up information, and it could be as simple as Avi's behind it. Like, Avi has the money and the guns.
I mean, it makes sense. He's so casual about everything.
Yes, and when he walked in that room,
let it go all the time. So
when he walked in that room, he looked nervous, and we haven't seen him look that nervous since season 3, I think it was, with him and Franklin, when he flew Franklin overseas to put the money up, and he thought he was going to get money, he was going to steal money from Franklin, and something completely different played out. I think it was kind of the same look with Reed here, where he thought one thing was going to happen, because I don't think he knew Reed was going to go to that extent to find out the information he needed. And when Avi looked at that window, he knew they're like, shit.
Yep, got what he needed now, and now he's a liability because he's been exposed. So yeah, I mean, I think, you know, because the ramifications of what's this dealing with money and guns, I think this is going to have like a big, you know, finale. It's going to be big in the finale because obviously there's going to be some casualties involved. So we'll kind of see. But I thought this was definitely a vital part as to what's going to happen next. Now, this the last thing I want to cover really quick. Again, is the final scene of Franklin in tears saying, "I think we're in real trouble." Is it safe to say that's true? Or is this a spirit of the moment reaction? Because he's been very resilient when it came down to situations, but this one he constantly say like, "Oh fuck."
I want to say how many questions I have about this woman that he's sharing all this information with.
Oh my god! And we know that she's just sponging it up. And I mean, it's an old joint. We get it, but
I have so many questions. I have so many questions, and it seems like he's just falling into an obvious trap. But as it pertains to the trouble, all you know is a pseudonym. That's not his real name. And the connection is to your father, who's a junkie. Like, in all honesty, to me, it wouldn't be real problems. I would just have somebody kidnap my father and shoot him up with crack.
Yeah, but I tell you, I
am cruel. Let me say, I am cruel. Granted, it would be an awesome thing on this show if they did that. If Franklin went that far to do something. But
for me, I honestly don't think he's looking at the situation. I think he's feeling the distress from his mother that is trickling to him. I think, which again, why it was such a good shot of her saying we need to talk.
Yeah.
And it silenced the room. And I think that's the image he had in his head in regards to we're in trouble. Regardless of what I do, my mom feels like we're in trouble, and that's that. So I think it's an instant reaction, but I don't think it's a certainty just because of what he thinks right now. Well, I mean, again, with episodes left, we know there's going to have to be somethings to come.
Yes.
But I think it's just an instant reaction to how his mom approached him with the situation. So,
and I think it is the connection with his father. Again, as I said,
all that hurts. So for sure,
always wanted that connection.
Yeah,
and he literally had to sever it, and it really hit him hard that he had to sever that relationship.
Yep.
So he immediately goes to "We in Trouble," as we seen from him blowing up Reed's phone, try his best to get in touch with him.
Gustavo was like, "Nope, I'll deal with that."
Like even the moment he gets in touch with Reed, I'm pretty sure he'll say the same thing. Like, you know what you have to do.
And that's
matter of fact, I think that's the issue with Franklin is that Reed already gave him an ultimatum once with Leon, and you got out of it by what happened with Fatback. There's no way out of this with your father. Kill him. It is what it is. And I'm pretty sure Reed's going to say that. Kill him. There's no other option here. Because if he's not living or if he's strung out, her story doesn't matter. Because who's your source?
Or Irene get that bullet.
Oh, we kind of think Irene's going to die.
The Greg Knox treatment.
Yes. But I think Alton has to die too.
Yeah.
He cannot be trusted.
I can see it, and that's going to be really an emotional toll for viewers.
Yes.
And that's the drama you want for television.
You have no choice.
Yeah. That's exactly what you want for television.
He's Raina. He got to die.
No, that's not Raina. Come on. Oh my God, you just disrespected him. Oh my God. Man. I can't even tell you what Raina's role was in that show.
She was the voice of conscience for Tariq.
Oh.
You see, I said that with a straight face, John. But Alton is Franklin's voice of conscience, supposedly.
Yeah.
So Franklin understands that. I think he understood in that moment what had to be done.
Mm-hmm.
And that could be why he said we're in trouble. Because he knows what he has to do. Like, you have no choice. Yeah. You can't bullshit your way out of this one.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now that a reporter knows this story, it brings up other questions. One, why does everyone know who Reed Thompson is? Why did Alton need to know exactly who Reed was? Louis should have been the only person that knew. And we talked about that last week. Mm-hmm. When Jerome found out, he was the only person who didn't know who Reed was.
Mm-hmm.
That means you're giving away too much information.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And now it's a problem. Because Reed's going to ask other questions now. Because if Alton knows who I am, who else knows who I am?
Yeah.
You need to get rid of these people.
Yep. Well, I think that's going to do it for our review tonight of episode 7 of Snowfall. Man, this is a crazy episode. We're back each and every week. Again, episode 7. So that means next week we're back for episode 8. Let us know in the comments what you thought about tonight's episode. And as always, folks, stay tuned because all those reviews and much more are coming to you real soon. Thank you for tuning in. We'll catch y'all next.